And welcome back to Evergreen Speedway's Home Track Heroes here on CW11 as we are rolling up on a restart for our Superstock Figure 8s with 20 laps remaining. It's Jessica Wilkinson out front, but don't look in your rearview mirror because you got Quentin Borson, the one-arm bandit, all over her back bumper ready to go.
I love the fact that they go Delaware style on the restart with the leader out by himself and then doubled up in and behind them. Very, very cool deal for the Monroe Grocery Outlet Superstock Figure 8s.
Yeah, and that's been a debate on what that kind of restart is called. I always consider it as a Delaware style restart. We've had some fun names for that in the past segments this year, but you confirming it right there as we see Jessica Wilkinson take the green flag. Quentin Borson now into second place over Jim Powers, and here comes Steve Cox in that 32 Tommy Gap owned machine.
Oh, Steve is moving up from the back of the field. Cox started 10th in this one. He's already worked his way to third, and we're only 11 laps in. So there's a lot of time for Steve to get up and through and make something happen, although Wilkinson set a really good pace, looking very solid out in front.
Yeah, that 55 JE car is set on rails right now. As we say that, Quentin Borson looks to the outside as we got Mackenzie Dietz looking to the inside of Jim Powers. A little bit of contact there. What a save from Jim Powers, just hammered down, keeping the throttle going, but back up front, we got a new leader. That is Quentin Borson, and Steve Cox is following through.
Good job by Cox to see the opportunity there, and Borson making it happen with one arm, of all things, making his way up and around the racetrack.
Yeah, as they come back around the North Pole, back down to the South Pole, as we already see. I think that's Brian Cottrell actually with a flat right front tire. So issues for him on that machine as you'll see him pull it into the pit. So tough break there as that's another car down. But the field is already strung out pretty wide, so we're going to be seeing some intersection action here very soon as we see Jeff Talbert in the 72 just get cleared by the leaders.
This is going to be a good two-car battle up in front of this field with Borson and Cox, and you can see here it comes. Now you got to time your way through the intersection. Make sure that you've got maximum acceleration getting through there because you don't want to be the slow guy coming through the X.
Exactly, and on top of battling for the lead, trying to keep Steve Cox of all people behind you, you also have to focus on the intersection of what's in front of you. So that is quite the task at hand for Quentin Borson. He's just clearing the 95 of Bruce Wilson. So this is getting very exciting, and not to take anything away from this great lead pack battle, but look behind them. That's a 4-car pack battling for third.
Look at it as well. Not only are they starting to have to time the crosses in the intersection, but they're coming up on lap traffic of their own. So it's not only going to be getting through and keeping Cox behind him, but Borson going to have to figure out how to get around the slower car that's lingering in front of him.
Exactly. Lap traffic definitely can come into play in these Superstock Figure 8 events, and really all Figure 8 racing. It just adds that extra element that drivers have to try to deal with. As you see some contact, Eric Allison going around on the corner of your screen. Hopefully he'll be able to get it fired back up. As there you see him getting it rolling enough, maybe. Yep, there you go. So we'll stay green flag conditions. As now we get a great onboard look right here with the one-arm bandit Quentin Borson as he shoots through the intersection. Tons of lap track right in front. That's Jeff Talbert. Oh, a little bit of contact. Oh, wow, there goes. That was Steve Cox over the right front of Quentin Borson. And you mentioned lap traffic and getting the way. You got to work around that. And I think Steve was trying to fill a gap that wasn't quite there.
It's either that or they were going to the old Dale Earnhardt 2 bumps and a dump method coming out of the turn. As you're looking, look out, slow car stopped, pointing the wrong direction right on the inside of the corner. That would make me nervous, just not knowing if they're ever going to fire up and go at the absolute wrong time.
Yeah, Jeff Talbert there. He's kind of tucked away between those Ute tires, so we'll see if he's able to get fired back up as that's Jim Powers.
Right out in front of your leaders.
Jeez, this is getting exciting, and somehow Quentin Borson's been able to keep Steve Cox behind him as we have 9 laps remaining through all of this. I don't know where to look.
Well, you saw the slower cars actually kind of check up as they saw the two coming through the intersection, so both your lead pack got a little break there. Cox is all over Borson. It's like Borson's the trainer at the dog show wearing the Milkbone underwear at this point in time. It is scary.
This reminds me of the old train racing where you used to link up the cars with chains. That's what I mean. Steve Cox is not giving a bumper to Quentin Borson as he's trying to get to the inside there, just not quite enough for Steve to get around Quentin Borson.
You can see Borson's strategy, at least in the south pole of the turns, is that he's exiting that turn wide. That way he can get to the inside of the north pole turn. So we'll see if Cox can take advantage at some point in time. Slower traffic playing a factor again.
Yeah, we'll see how they work around the 95 of Bruce Wilson while trying to avoid the 45 of Jacob Renicky. So here we see Steve Cox hung up a little bit on the outside, a little bit of contact, but they make it through for now. as we have 6 laps still remaining, as this has been an exciting battle for the lead. This is the biggest gap we've seen for Quinton Borson over Steve Cox.
Yeah, and it's only about a car length and change at this point in time. So Cox got to reel him back in and then try to pass him again. He didn't have any success in the previous 20 laps. 5 to go.
Yeah, and who knows, with all that lap traffic up in front, you see Jim Powers in that 007, and then Jessica Wilkinson not that far in front either, so they have to battle with that again with some more intersection action. It's all over the place right now.
For a frame of reference, so the blue and orange cars are 1 and 2. The red car just entering the turn on the north side is your third place car. About a half track back at this point in time. Those two are just absolutely laying them down.
Yeah, but it only takes one mistake from either of those two drivers to let Mackenzie Dietz right back into the battle. So we'll see what happens as they come up on 3 laps remaining. Steve Cox almost to the inside right there. Maybe a little bit of a bobble for Quinton Borson.
Yeah, Borson has lost that little bit of padding that he had. Now he's got 3 cars coming up, bing, bang, boom, but at least they're not battling side by side. So there'll be a lane for Borson to get around him if he can.
Yeah, and it's hard because sometimes you're on the outside lane, then all of a sudden you're on the inside, and then you're back to the outside, so it's hard to really judge on when to pass lap traffic. Definitely the hardest class to do it in is any sort of figure 8 racing, is to try to get around lap traffic. So we see Jim Powers kind of letting the inside line go, but that could cause trouble right here as they're coming around to get the white flag this time by.
Oh boy, yeah, heavy, slower traffic in front of your leader. Borson the blue machine, Cox the orange machine, there's the white.
As they head down into the South Pole, Jessica Wilkinson right there with Jacob Renicky now in front of your leaders. Steve Cox is there as he's going to try to make an outside run going into the corner.
He's got him pinned down to the inside. Final corner, how's it going to finish?
As they come around, Steve Cox puts the hammer down and just gets Quinton Borson at the line. If you look up on your ticker, that's going to put Steve Cox as your winner. He led 1 lap and maybe, 10 feet of a lap?
3 feet at best. A beautiful move. Take a look at the replay. There's Cox. It's by a nose coming around the line. Made a beautiful move to just pin Borson inside with the slower car, and that did it for him.
And we'll throw it down to Greg Pyland to catch up with a very happy Steve Cox.
You know, Steve, I just thought it was such a fun race to watch you and Quinton go back and forth. You know, one person in front of the other, but you guys just almost tailed each other all the way through the field from the back of the pack. But you were able to eke out that win right at the very end.
Yeah, we were pretty equal most of the race. I felt I was a little better in the center, but the center doesn't help you if you can't get off the corner right. So he got the traffic kind of stalled him a little bit, and I'm like, my car's so good on the outside. Here we go. So I was still winging it.
But like Quinton said at the end, he didn't want to run an unclean race to get that victory. I also think that you ran a very clean race tonight. That was important to you, yeah?
Well, every once in a while I try to do it. I got to give these fans something to look at.
Love it. Who do you need to thank for being out here tonight, Steve?
Well, I got to thank Tommy for letting me drive this wonderful car, and my family for showing every week, the wives and the mothers that bring us food every week and keep us my fat belly going.
You know, Quinton, that was maybe one of the most exciting finishes. Maybe one car right in ahead of you that kind of held you up a little bit coming into turn number 4, but you had a heck of a race. And your buddy Steve Mortland was telling everybody out here you were the person to beat, and indeed you were for almost the whole race.
The car was really wonderful tonight. It's been 6 races since I've been up here. That is like the longest streak in my life, and I feel so good to be back. It feels wonderful to have all you people up there. What an amazing night tonight. Congratulations to Steve, but I don't want to use my bumper to knock someone out of the way. It's just not my style, so if that means second, that means second.
Quinton, who do you need to thank for being here tonight?
Mrs. Turner's Hometown Cafe, Olympia Pizza House, Clearview Family Dentistry, Kelly's Auto Repair. Let me think for a second, it's been so long. Dave Brandenburg, my brother John Zaretsky, he's been on board helping us get the car dialed in. I knew we were at a little loss for power with these bigger tires, and he's just been wonderful and amazing, and it just feels so good to be up here. And I got a couple other sponsors that I'm just not thinking about right now. I'll get myself back in training.
So Mackenzie, great race out there. You did awesome. 3rd place, great finish for you. It seemed like there was some really good competition ahead of you, maybe a little bit of lap traffic that slowed you down.
Yeah, just a little bit. But, I just kept going and tried to pass him, and eventually it worked.
Mackenzie, who do you need to thank for being out here tonight?
Well, first and foremost, I have to thank my Aunt Nancy and Uncle Joe. I forgot to give them a shout out last time. BECU, Rep and Welding and Rail, my crew, they've worked so hard on getting everything done for my car, and we wouldn't be up here without them, so thank you.
It's so cool seeing Quentin Borson back up on the podium. You could tell he was humbled to be up there.
You had said that he was a one-arm driver, and I had never actually met Quentin before up until that point. And hey, what do you know? It's amazing what he is able to do to get that thing around. And great interview, great job, Greg Pilot, getting a lot of good data and good information out of those winners and top 3 in the podium.
Yeah, and this segment is brought to you by Monroe Grocery Outlet. Monroe Grocery Outlet is your locally neighborhood grocery store. They offer name brand products, fresh produce, organics, wine, and more at 40 to 70% less than traditional grocery stores. Shop Grocery Outlet first and save money.
So we're going into the past. The last time that we saw the Focus Midgets didn't run at Evergreen Speedway in 2020 due to pandemic reasons. So let's take a look at the flashback. The last time these boys were on the pavement, Nick Larson, Ross Rankin, Chance Crum, some of the big names, as I believe you see Flying Ray Stebbins and the Magical Fun Bus going off into the marbles. Yep. There's Ray.
Yep. And this set up a late race restart after a great battle for the lead. And here you see, the rest was history right here.
Up and over. That is Michael Volbrecht taking a trip into the green grass the very, very hard way. Thankfully, Michael would walk away from the wreck and live to race another day. He's actually been very good on the pavement over the years. Get a look at the caution and the checkered flag with Nick Larson crossing the line first. He's been one of the best on the pavement for the Focus Midget Series over the last couple of years. It'll be exciting to see what he can do in his A main event, as he's really turned into one of the 2 series' pavement aces. So we'll find out in just a little bit how he did.
Yep, and Ross and Chance, they won't be here in this race as they're living in other states now. I believe both of them are, I believe, racing still. So it'll be a little bit different field. We'll see who has it for Nick Larson, because we got a packed house, and it should be fun seeing these Focus Midgets back out on the 3/8 mile.
It's going to be a good time for sure. So take a look at this. That's a 30-lap A feature for the Northwest Focus Midget Series. Those group of cars drive all around the state. And your pole sitter for this one is going to be the 15 of Jake Austin. Austin next to him, the veteran Mike Stryker in car number 8. Row number 2, Dwayne Swanson in the 16S. Next to him, Alex Peck driving the Bob and Lori Scott number 7S. That car, a former series champion, and has won many, many main events on both sides of the equation, dirt and asphalt. The old veteran coming out of retirement to now full-time race once again is Rebel Jackson Jr. Jackson in the 12J has not been a full-timer in over 20 years, according to him. Nick Larson drives the 16. He's outside row number 3. John Fugit, the 5 car out of Puyallup, Washington, starts 7. 8th will be Brian Hayes from Mount Vernon in the 3B. That is Scott Kramer's 10 car lingering around at the back of the field. Kramer, by the way, is about 73 years old, if I'm correct. So he's out there having a good time getting laps as the green flag's out.
Yeah, and we see 3 wide action early. That was Rebel Jackson peeking to the inside, seeing what he can make do there, as we see the fast time Nick Larson in that orange and silver machine trying to make the outside line work, as they pulled a 6 invert for this class. So your fast man was Nick Larson. He started 6, but he's already working his way trying to get into 3rd.
Yeah, he's got a good run on Austin going into turn number 3, and you can see him very, very comfortable in the middle line of that racetrack. The car looks balanced, easily rotating through the corners. We've got a new race leader. It's Peck taking it over from Stryker.
Yeah, Alex Peck, and I think this deal for Alex to get out here came together fairly late in the week, as he was the Pavement Series champion, I believe, for the Focus Midgets in 2019, so he definitely has the talent to get it done today.
He was the Pavement Series champion for them, as we got a car off the pace and pulling to the infield. I believe Swanson's 16 is the one that is off the pace. I could be wrong. Leader again is Peck, and you were right. That deal did come about very, very late in the week. They didn't pick up tires for that car until Thursday evening.
Yes, that is definitely very late, and I think that Swanson's still on your screen, so that could have been the 10 of Kramer, who was still battling some just little demons with the car, you could say. But Dwayne Swanson, you should be familiar with that name if you came out to Evergreen Speedway in the past few years, as he drove the white and blue 16 Legend, and he was almost unbeatable for for the time being, it seemed like, as he was always very fast. Now he's out here in a Focus Midget, and Focus Midgets and Legends, they could be fairly similar. You could connect some dots there.
You could connect some dots there. I would bet you the power and weight is very similar. We've got a new leader. It's a different 16 car, and that's Larson, who snuck to the inside and passed Peck for the lead as we were watching there. That's the race for third, with Stryker in the 16 car kind of holding serve right now over the top, and the Rebel Jr. is the silver car on the outside working his way into fourth. Those two guys have had some battles over the years, former WMRA and NSRA racers between the two of them. Those guys have gone nose to tail a few times. We're going to watch them race for fourth.
Yeah, it's a great 4-car battle we have going on right here, for all the way battling to third, with Stryker still in the mix, but I don't think Rebel Jackson Jr. is very content riding behind him.
No, Rebel really peaking high on the outside. Stryker very comfortable on the bottom groove. He is, when you see him on the dirt, he's also down on the low side of the racetrack more often than not. He knows how to make that car get around, how to make it rotate, pivot where he needs it to go. So Stryker comfortable right now, making Rebel work for it on the high side of the speedway.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell from these different camera angles, as we almost see Dwayne Swanson in the back of Rebel Jackson Jr., but this track is not very smooth. It's new paved, but there are some nasty bumps in there that can really upset cars like these in Legends. Some different transition going from the 3/8 to the front stretch of the 5/8 back down into the 3/8. So these drivers may seem like they're nice and smooth, but they are definitely battling these
you
cars.
You can actually see it on Stryker's car when he exited turn 4 last time. It looked like he got the left front down onto that little bit of rumble strip that's off the bottom of the fourth corner, and it upset the car enough going down the straightaway. As you get a look at your leader, Nick Larson, he's got a half straight on Peck, and he's working on slower traffic in front of him. Back to the battle for third with Stryker and Larson and Swanson.
Yeah, and just out of the picture, I believe that is Fugit there, but we see Rebel Jackson. He's trying to make that outside line work. He's trying to carry that momentum around, and he's just almost there for third place.
Side by side they go down the back straightaway. We're approaching the halfway mark of this A main event for the Northwest Focus Midget Series. We're going to be back with the back half of the A main after this timeout.